Hi everyone, welcome back to What the Film School. I'm Hayley, and for today's video I'm going to give you the top 3 filmmaking books that are on my shelf right now. The first book I have is called Filmmaking for Teens. Don't let the title deter you because it does say for teens, and I think that more means amateurs or people that have very limited resources or just starting to get into filmmaking. This book takes you from like step 1 to step 50. I mean, it goes over every detail that you could possibly think of when it comes to making a short film or just a little video project or whatever it might be. Like I said, I picked this book up when I was in high school and it really set things in motion for me. It was kind of one of those things where I didn't know where to start, and I found this book on the bookshelf. I didn't have anyone recommend it to me. I would consider this book like an intro to filmmaking class all molded into one. What I really like about this, and as I just said, it really goes over like how to write your script really well, how to have twists and turns for that, how to pick characters, how to develop those characters. And then it goes into some very technical stuff like how to shoot, how to set up your lights, your camera. It kind of talks about the crew that you might need if you're going to be filming something. So it says like, well, you'd need somebody to monitor your script, you'd need someone to direct. And then it covers something that you wouldn't really expect for like a very amateur filmmaking book, but it's how to distribute your film and get marketing for it and get it noticed. Since it does assume that you are an amateur, it tells you like, okay, you can put your short film or whatever it is in a local theater and just have your friends and family come watch it. And if you didn't already know this, Steven Spielberg actually did that with one of his little short films when he was younger. He put it in a theater and charged people to go see it. So I don't know what edition they're at currently. This is second edition, but this one I'd say is just like the old standby. It's very simple, very straightforward. It's a thin book. You can see it doesn't take that long to read, and it just really gives a broad overview of everything that you need to know to get started. A few years ago, I actually picked this book up while I was walking through the filmmaking aisle at a bookstore, and I read a couple passages of it, and I thought it was really interesting, but I didn't end up buying it that day. But a couple years later, when I was going to NYU, two different professors of mine assigned this book for reading, so that's why it makes it onto my list today, is just because it's very recommended, and I've studied it in film school. After reading it all the way through now, I think that it is a really useful book and it's got some really interesting information. If you are interested in editing, then this is the great option for you because it doesn't tell you the technical side of editing. It doesn't say like, well, cut here, cut there, blah, blah, blah. It really kind of is like the theory of editing, and why it's called In the Blink of an Eye is basically the idea of it is that when you edit something, you are editing on people's natural like blinking patterns. So a cut in a movie should be completely natural and completely unnoticeable because it would be ideally at the same time that somebody would be blinking. Again, it's another short book. I'm a terrible reader. It takes me years to read one book, so I'm recommending really short ones to you. What I had picked up and read when I first saw this book in the bookstore was this passage that said, I think it was in the early 1900s, there was a movie that was being screened in this one country that was having this really like horrible coughing epidemic. There was some like sickness going around and everybody was really sick with it, and it would cause them to cough constantly. But when they screened this movie to everybody, the coughing actually stopped. It suppressed their coughing. So like for 2 hours, people were so engrossed in the film that they forgot that they were sick. To me, like that's kind of the power of movies, right? Like the fact that there's something that you would have never thought about that a movie could do, which is completely distract you or challenge kind of your eye movement or your blinking patterns and all that. Like the book really touches on that. So this next book is one that's not a chapter book or anything, but it's just kind of like one of those books you can have on the coffee table or you can come back and reference to later on because it's just full of like little snippets of advice basically. And the book is called 101 Things I Learned in Film School. I recently talked a little bit about this book in my blog post on wtfilmschool.com. Go check it out if you haven't already. Basically what I like about this book is that it is written from someone who went to film school, obviously, and it's full of little illustrations which makes it really easy to read. But you can see, so it'll like present a topic to you and then I'll just have a quick description of what that is. And yeah, I think it's kind of like a little pocket Bible, if you want to call it that, because it really just goes over some of the very basics. Like these are things in this book that I think every filmmaker should know. If you're going to be on set, if you're going to be making your own short films, this stuff is really important. So it's just like rules and things you don't want to break, little phrases, little terminology things that you would use on set or you'd be using in the industry. It's something that you can come back and reference if you want to have a little refresher, if you've already graduated film school, if you haven't been to film school and you just kind of want to touch up on the basics. This again is a really good option for just kind of doing that. But also it's fun to have lying around. Like if you have guests over, people can pick it up and be like, oh, well, did you learn this in film school? Well, yes, I did. All these books I think are under $20, so super affordable if you want to pick them up for yourself or if you want to ask for them as gifts. Obviously, these are not the only 3 books that I have read in my last few years of being a filmmaker or film student, but these are just the 3 that I have sitting on my shelf currently that are kind of my go-tos. But definitely later on down the line, I'll share all of the books that I have been referenced to or have read over the years, especially ones that I was assigned to in class. Thanks so much for watching today. I hope that this video was helpful to you. If you have any other book recommendations, please leave comments below. And if you have any questions for me, go ahead, leave those below too. Also, as I quickly mentioned in the video, don't forget to go over to my blog, which is w2filmschool.com, where I'm going to be trying to post at least once a week. I'll see you guys again soon. Bye!